From its debut to a public who waited with bated breath to catch their first glimpse of it at the 1964 World's Fair, the Ford Mustang has always been popular with petrolheads and tuners looking to extract the most possible muscle from America's premier steel bicep. Pretty much everybody has had a stab at the Stang, from Celine to Hennessy Performance, but of all of those, there's one name that stands out head and shoulders above the rest: Shelby. It was Carroll Shelby who had the bright idea of taking an AC sports car, fitting it with a big Ford V8, and in doing so creating the Shelby Cobra. It was Carroll Shelby who took Ford's GT40 racing car and turned it from a bit of a dud into a world beater, a multiple-time Le Mans champion. And so when the time came for Ford to give the first generation Mustang a tune-up, well, there was only one guy it had in mind for the job. Wrong side. You see, it's a little ironic that while the first gen Mustang offered aggressive sports car looks and a big V8 engine, it was actually built using a medley of leftover parts. Sure, it looked the business, but underneath it wasn't actually all that much of a sports car. You could argue that the modern Mustang is kind of the same, even with its independent rear suspension and whatever else. It's still a Mustang, it's still a big lump of pig iron with a big lump of a V8 out the front, and compared to the best sports coupes and super saloons out there, it seems, well, just a bit basic. Not so with the GT350R. I mean, yeah, okay, apart from the Shelby snake logo and these bucket seats, it looks pretty much like any other Mustang in here. But it's what's underneath the skin that really counts. The original GT350 concentrated on three main things: big power, big brakes, lightweight, and it's much the same story here, with race-bred components like an injection-molded carbon fibre front end and huge 15.5-inch brake rotors with 6-piston calipers. There's no aircon, there's no rear seats, and it also comes with the option of special lightweight carbon fibre wheels made with technology originally developed for the NASA Space Shuttle. And that's not even the coolest bit. Let me show you what I mean. Most excitingly of all, and key to this car, is a very new, very special engine. You see, while the regular Mustang is powered by a 5-litre V8, famously referred to as the Coyote motor, this one gets something a little bit more special. Called the Voodoo, it's got a 5.2-litre displacement and a flat plane crank design, the exact same used in Ferrari's V8 engine Formula 1 cars. As a result, it sounds very different and it goes very different to pretty much any other V8 powered muscle car. Now, of course, the GT350R isn't exactly road legal, so let's cut to Thruxton circuit, where we can give this thing a proper thrashing. As a result of that flat crank design, the Voodoo can rev higher and harder than any normal V8, and the GT350R creates a maximum of 526 brake horsepower and 582 Newton meters of torque. It's the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 that Ford has ever made, and it is absolutely ballistic. All that hyperbolic amount of power goes straight to the rear wheels via a heavy-duty 6-speed Tremac manual gearbox, which has been almost entirely reworked to cope with the sheer amount of power and torque the Voodoo engine provides. As a result, it can wallop its way from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds, making it quicker than a Lamborghini Gallardo, a 997 GT3, or a V8-powered Audi R8 Spider. To use that most American measure of speed, the quarter mile, it'll do it in 11.96 seconds before heading all the way on to a top speed of 155 miles per hour. Now, I know what you're thinking, ha ha, all torque, no traction, cars and coffee, ha ha ha. But while straight line power has always been a hallmark of the muscle car, what sets the GT350R apart is how it matches that power with uncanny agility. Part of that is thanks to an aggressive aerodynamic kit, which includes a huge front splitter and a large rear wing, which actually creates more downforce than a 911 GT3, and which presses it down into the tarmac. The gearbox is quite heavy to use, but the steering is not as heavy as you might think, and overall it's kind of funny. Even though the GT350R is sort of like the ultimate expression of the modern muscle car, it's possibly as far away from the classic idea of the muscle car as is possible. Violently quick, and yet with an uncanny ability to chew up and spit out a track like the best of Europe's performance saloons, in the GT350R, the Mustang finally has performance as mythical as the legend which precedes it. The only bad thing? Well, you can't have one, sadly. Despite the fact that this car is such a bargain in the US, starting from around $65,000, we don't get it here in the UK. You can, of course, import one, but that'll mean a massive hassle, mountains of paperwork, huge expenses, and of course, the steering wheel on the wrong bloody side. A massive pain in the posterior it will be, but then again, if you do opt for that, you will have access to what's possibly the best version of the Ford Mustang ever made. Worth it? Worth it.